here I have the Super Nintendo. Now the Super Nintendo was Nintendo's second home gaming console, and it was a 16-bit system, okay, and it followed the Nintendo Entertainment System, and they just added the Super to it, Super console. And it was versing, the Sega Mega Drive at the time, which is also a 16-bit system. So these things had a lot of wars together. Now, what they said was, at the time, they sort of gave the idea that, you know, Super Nintendo, that's for kids, Sega Mega Drive, that's for teenagers, that's what the cool people play. But anyway, so in the end, Super Nintendo won. They sold 45, something like that, million units, where the Sega Mega Drive only sold 28 million, I think. So we have a victor here. Now, it's pretty nicely designed. However, you may have noticed on the box that I showed you just before, look how white that is. Looks perfect almost. The perfect system. What just happened? As you may have noticed, mine is a bit creamy. Alright, it's not really white at all. This thing, though, is approximately 15 years old. So, you know, it's had its use over the years. Yeah, that's really the colour. It really should be all over. But anyway, I don't really care. Now, I'm just going to look closely at this area. Okay, so right there we have the cartridge slot. And the cartridge slot on this machine is brilliant, ladies and gentlemen. I'll just show you a sample game. Here we have Super Mario Kart. I have previously reviewed this. You can check out my channel to look at that. Anyway, so I'll put it in now. This is a unique cartridge slot. Not all cartridge slots like this. I turn it on. Now you may have noticed just the on button just light flickered. That's just a bit of built up energy from when I last used it. But yeah, that on button actually is a bit, you need to put a lot of force behind it compared to other buttons. But anyway, yeah, so you put it in, turn it on. Okay, I'm finished with it. Okay, the eject button won't eject the cartridge. Now if I turn it off, comes out. Now, you may have noticed there's this little groove on the cartridge. Basically what happens with this machine is, when I turn it on, it's that thing that comes out. That what comes out like a tooth and ejects into this little slot, so you don't accidentally pull it out when you're playing it or something like that. So that was an interesting thing they did with it. You also got the reset button here. A bit weird actually, got this lever and then, yeah. But anyway, yeah, you got the reset button, and as I just showed you, the eject button. The light's red, as you saw before. Yes, and I do recommend Super Mario Kart. If you have a Super Nintendo, get it. Now, I'll just take a look at the back. Now, the back for this, it was interesting. It's got a nice vent there. I like it. Adds to its coolness. Now, you've got the RF slot right there. It looks a bit something like this. The RF unit. And you've got the AC right there. The AC adapter. As you noticed, it's a bit different to previous consoles. Plug it in there, it's just this miniature thing here. The power pack isn't halfway through, and then that goes into the PowerPoint. Previous consoles like Master System, etc. had this massive chunk going to the PowerPoint, and it wouldn't fit in all PowerPoints, and it just pisses you off. It's the only word I can use to describe it. Now here, this was hidden when I first bought it. That is where you store your AV cable. Okay? Now, when I first bought this, I thought, oh, not another RF, console. It takes so long to set up. But this cap, even I got conned by it. And that's an AV slot. That's the same as a Nintendo 64 AV cable. So you don't need an RF cable for your Super Nintendo if you have a Nintendo 64. Done. Now, if I look at the back, it's just got serial numbers, these rubbery things to get grip. You've got this extension slot. Now, I've never used these, never probably have any intentions to do so. But it's got this slot here. Why would you use a slot on the bottom of a console? That's just retarded. But what that does is, if you have a CD like that, the CD, I think it was in Japan, you just put it on top of this CD thing and you could play extra games, etc. So it was for Japan only. So it's a bit different. And they also have that on a Nintendo 64. So anyway, I'll take a look at the controller for it. That's the Super Nintendo controller. Now, this is the Australian/European version, the PAL version, because our Australian TVs use PAL system, whereas the Americans use the NTSC, I think that's how you pronounce it, system, which is just a little miniature different TV thing. Anyway, so the American controllers would be pink, and their console would have, these pink buttons that you would push that way. So, it's a slightly bit different, but either way, the gameplay is still the same. And the good thing with this version is that it's colourful. I like it. So anyway, the controller, has got a D-pad, start, select button, and these 5 buttons here. Now, if you want to look at this in closer detail, you can watch my Super Nintendo controller review also. So, that is the Super Nintendo. Now, I've already gone through games. Mario Kart's good. And I've also reviewed Black Hawk. And, in fact, they're really the only games I own. And I've also got this Super Pinball game. But yes, a great console. If you're a Nintendo lover, you'll enjoy this. And, I suppose it's according to your preferences. If you don't mind 2D games, you'll enjoy this. However, I would probably say that I would probably go for the Nintendo 64 first, then this. However, this is still a great console. 45 million was sold, so by all means it is not rare. So, thanks for watching this video review, and I'll hopefully see you next time.